Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's June 30th, 2023, and today on the agenda we have post-crossing to talk about. We have a meetup to talk about that's happening next weekend. We have to talk about tomorrow's video for That Dad Guy answers the questions that have been coming in and the answers that have been coming in. What else do we have? Oh, there's an adventure video coming up. I'm going to hint to that as well if you stay tuned. And yeah, we're going to also talk about when you watch till the very end, what sometimes you might get to see. So, because some people skip out early and miss out on some of the little Easter eggs that I leave behind. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to stick to the end. All right, let's get on to it being Friday and the mail that came in this week. So, all this stuff showed up this week. I didn't have any official post-crossing cards arrived this week, but I did hit the 400 sent and the 400 received mark, so I thought that was pretty cool. So I've kind of stuck on that for a minute now until my cards reach their destinations. I'll see what I can do on Sunday too as far as sending out postcards. This week is a long weekend for me. I took yesterday and today off from work. I had a couple personal days I had to use, and then tomorrow was Canada Day, so that is a holiday, and because it falls on the weekend, that means we get Monday off in lieu. So I've got 5 days off in a row, and it's been nice kind of having these couple days to catch up on some things I wanted to do around the house, and there's been an adventure that we did. I'll talk about that after I show you these postcards. So you're gonna stick around. All right, let's start with the postcards that came in. No officials, like I said, so we're gonna show you the direct swaps, the fan mail, if you wanna call it that, that has come in, and people that surprised me as subscribers. This first card comes from Steffi, and she is in Germany. So this cute card looks very much like a summer scene. You can see the bird enjoying the treats that are on there. She's got some nice washi tape going, a nice frog stamp there too. Lots of lovely things there, so thank you, Steffi, for that. This next card comes from Sam. Sam is from the United States, but he is a pilot, and so he flies around the world and gets to send cards from all sorts of different locations. This one is actually coming in from Italy. There's the stamp that he's used. And I'm going to read a little bit about what Sam wrote on the back because I think it's really cool. So he's a corporate pilot, flies from the United States, like I said, and he says the last place they normally talk to is the Air Traffic Control Center here in Moncton. So that's kind of neat that when they kind of speak to all the domestic air traffic controllers before he flies over the Atlantic, they touch base with Moncton before they head over. And one of the last times when he was flying over, he got to see a display of the Northern Lights just after midnight. So he said, otherwise it's normally a quiet and placid portion of the flight. Instead, he had this welcoming, unique crossing with the Northern Lights. So that's really cool. Thanks, Sam, for keeping me in the loop wherever you're traveling around the world and getting cards. I really appreciate that. This next card comes from Brenda. She's in Ontario. It is a John Lennon card. Kind of looks like Penguin Books, but John Lennon in what is kind of a Superman outfit, but you can see the J and the L logo there rather than the S logo. And she has put some retro stamps on there. We've got some politicians going on, including our current Prime Minister's father, who was Prime Minister at one point in time too, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. So yeah. One of the things she was interesting to say is that she has a connection here to Moncton, or to New Brunswick. She was born in Moncton, but left at an early age, but still has family that are in Sussex. Now, Sussex about 30 minutes west of Moncton as you're heading towards St. John. So yeah, it's kind of neat to have a connection here to Moncton, where I live, and to New Brunswick as a whole. So thank you, Brenda, for that. This next card comes from Billy, and she is in Netherlands. And this is an articulating card. You can see the dunes. And they say these dunes are very close to where she lives, and they're the highest dunes in the Netherlands. And on the back, she's definitely got nice stamps. They've got cool washi to make it look like you're at the beach too. So she themed it all out beautifully. So thank you, Billy, for that. Those are always fun cards to get and to send too. I've got some and I like sending them off. Now this next card comes from Kathy in Ontario here in Canada. You've got the traditional Uncle Sam, there we go, it came to me here, saying, I want you. Usually you see these on ones that are promoting joining the military or things like that, the American flag in the background, or a sense of the American flag. But what's really funny is right here, I want you to eat as many hot dogs as humanly possible. So she is thinking of July 4th that's coming up, the American Independence Day, and the Coney Island hot dog eating contest that they have in New York. She talks about maybe wanting to go down to spend July 4th down there just to see what it's like with all the fireworks and how they celebrate their Independence Day versus how we in Canada celebrate on July 1st, tomorrow, Canada Day. So that would be interesting to see. And on the back, she's got the Mountie stamp, but she's also got some American Canadian flags there too. All right, this next card is first for me. This comes from Mark Sutton, and he is in the UK. We have a beautiful train one here. He mentions that he'd gone for a trip with his family and got to experience a nice place here and sent me a card. Now, Mark has commented on my videos before, so it's kind of nice to get a card from him, kind of see where he is and what he's up to. We've got a King Charles III stamp on the back. So thank you, Mark, for sending me your card and an address so I can respond to you. This next card is a little bit more local. This comes from Kyler in Prince Edward Island. He's showing what dads might do on holidays, like wearing embarrassing swim trunks with some sort of unusual pattern on it. I certainly have done that. Forget to put sunscreens on the kid. I have definitely done that. Make bigger sandcastles than the other dads. Well, I try to do that because that's one of the fun things to do, is making sandcastles. And never ask for directions. Well, probably don't do that either. But Google Maps and paper maps before usually help out. But if not, my wife is usually the co-pilot and she does the directions. So it works out in the end. So it's just summer greetings. He has included one of the new Indigenous leader stamps on the back, and a nice cancellation on there as well, and then the happy summer face. Today, it feels kind of summery. It's still overcast. We don't know if rain's coming or not. It's kind of been like that the last couple of days. About 24, 25 degrees here, feeling about 30, 31 with the humidity. But yeah, pretty nice so far. And it is later in the day now. So normally I would be shooting this video in the morning after I get my mail, but I ran an adventure, which we're going to get to after, and you'll get to see a future video on that. Now, this one comes from Ross. Postcards are still coming in from Great Britain when he was on his trip, King Charles III on his coronation day. And so King Charles III stamp on the back. He was very generous to me while he was away and has sent many, many cards. As you will have noticed over the last 3 weeks, cards have been pouring in from him while he's been in England. So there's Charles and Camilla. I didn't show you the stamp. It's the same stamp on all of them, like that. See? And here you can see, he says, happier times. You can see the two boys are laughing and spending time with their father. Doesn't seem to be that way right now, or at least as the media portrays it. Who knows what's happening behind the scenes? Maybe they are one big happy family. Who knows? And then here is a younger Prince Charles at the time. And this came out in the year that Ross was born. So if you know when this picture was taken, now you know how old Ross is. And his final card that he sent while in England on his UK trip. One of the coolest cards. Now, I do like all the coronation cards. Don't get me wrong there. But I like black and white cards that have color images that go through. Seeing all these VW buses too. Kind of cool, the camper buses. I think of these more of what you would see on the road here in North America and not in the UK. But very cool. I like it a lot. Thanks, Ross. Now, before Ross was in the UK, he was in Italy. And you would think the cards from Italy would have arrived first, but they didn't. So here we have a cat doing a gondola ride as a... there is the stamp that he used on the back. And we have a cat as a jester with the same stamp from Verona. And here we have a multi-view from Verona. Where he says, Juliet says hi, because Romeo and Juliet, this is what we're thinking of here, if you know the balcony scene. And if you don't, here's a zoom close-up, Juliet's balcony. So thank you, Ross, for all the cards. These are all the ones from Italy, and then the final grouping, I assume the final grouping are the ones from UK that he sent. This next one is an envelope from Media in Finland. I show the stamps. She's always been using nice new stamps there. So I'm getting to see all the different things. You can see the sailboat seems to be parked in their front yard. Maybe it's out of the water for the season. Inside, she has included a first day cover. It's Finland and NATO, but it is from Estonia is the stamp. So why Estonia is pulling out a NATO first day cover and not Finland, I'm not sure, but really cool. She has included this postcard, a little bit of a unicorn. So the unicorn gang, unicorn group, unicorn crew, whichever. So she's got that, sent that off to me. This one here is a bit of a maxi card. Not exactly the same image, but still really cool. And this one comes from Estonia. And then she's included a couple finished stamps that she had laying around. So I appreciate that for the stamp collection. I really like in the finished stamps that they include the map of Finland all the time. So when you see in the UK, it's got the royal head on it, whether it was the Queen or now the King's head on it. They put Finland. I don't know all, but on a good portion of them they do. So I'll put those aside. Thank you, Media, for that. The last thing I have, a bit of a brain scratcher. All right, this parcel arrived. If you watched some of my videos in the past, I received a parcel from this person in the past. He's in Arizona. He goes by Plush Bat Fan, or what else does he call it? From Dream Big Productions. So I assume they have a little bit of a YouTube channel. Last time he sent me an envelope, and inside of it, it had gas prices in Arizona, and kind of was saying that the gas prices are quite high. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with that information. I don't have any control over gas prices. Interesting, I guess, to see how much they pay for fuel there. And he gave the conversion of what it would be per liter here versus per gallon there. Well, he's gone and sent me something else. So in this, it has nothing to do with gas prices, but inside the envelope, he sent this from Carnival Cruise Lines. It is a file folder that you would put all your brochures in. We had a note on it that says, very unique Carnival Cruise Line photo frame template for yours to keep or as a souvenir. So perhaps they went on a cruise line and got this, or they went to a travel agent and got this, and he sent that on to me. So for the $3.15 that it cost him to send it to me, I'm not complaining, it's interesting to talk about, but I'm not sure what the purpose was. So if you're out there and you're watching and wanted to see what this is, maybe you just wanted me to mention your channel, I don't mind doing that too. But let me know what the purpose. Were you on Carnival Cruise Lines? Or where did you go if you were? Is it something you would recommend? Do you work for Carnival Cruise Lines? Interesting to get. I'm glad to talk about all sorts of different things. So if there's more to the story, let me know about it. Otherwise, I'll wait to see what your next thing that you send me and what interesting thing we're going to be talking about, whether it's gas prices or cruise lines. That's what I got. So that is the mail that I received this week. Pretty happy. Thank you, Ross, is the #1 contributor for the 3rd week in a row. Maybe next week I'll have some official cards to show you too. All right, let's talk about the Post-Crossing meetup next. So next Saturday, July the 8th in Fredericton at the Capital Winter Club at 232 Rookwood Avenue in Fredericton. We are going to be having a meetup from 12 to 3. It's also in conjunction with geocaching event that is happening in Fredericton that weekend. So if you're a geocacher, maybe you're already going to it and you want to come down and check out Post-Crossing, or you're a post-crosser and you're interested in what geocaching is all about, you can find out that all there. If you're just interested in post-crossing, you can come and visit us too. I sent out about 40 invitations through postcrossing.com to New Brunswickers, just letting them know that the event was taking place. And hopefully a few of those people will show up. We'll get to meet some new people. that's the hope anyways, that's going to happen. What do you do at a meetup? Well, we have cards that are going to be for sale from Sophia, who's coming down from Montreal. She's been touring around. She's actually on her way now to Newfoundland, or is in Newfoundland now, for a meetup. And then on her way back, she will be putting this one on. So you can get your postcards there. We will stamp, we will sign all the postcards as post-crossers at the event. There's also going to be a Trash to Treasure event. So she's going to bring stickers and washi and postcards that you can take free of charge down. And if you have some postcards and things that maybe you haven't been using and you want to bring them up, you add them to the pile, and we just kind of swap out. Maybe there's something interesting that you find that someone else hasn't been using. Last year, there were some Doctor Who postcards. I love Doctor Who, and I know there's some other people that do too. So Sophia had a box of those that she didn't want anymore, so I got to have those, and I left some postcards that weren't being sent out in my collection at that point either. So a kind of fun event to do that. It's also a great time just to sit around and chit chat with other people who are interested in the hobby. So if you can be in Fredericton on July the 8th between 12 and 3 at the Capital Winter Club, I look forward to seeing you there. I'm going to be doing a video while up there to document what's going on. So if you're there, you might be in the video too. All right, what's the next thing I want to do? Oh yes, my sister and niece are in town. So we are going, or have gone, depending on what the order that you watch these videos in, to a chocolatier here in Moncton. And it was good. So you'll have to stay tuned for that video and see what's coming up. The other thing we want to talk about is making sure that you're subscribed, that you like, that you leave a comment, and they share with other people. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure your notification bell's on so you can see whenever I have new videos coming up. That is available to you. And speaking of leaving comments, I do every Saturday, I do a That Dad Guy Answers, where I let you leave me comments on that video, questions, and then the following week I will answer them. I've done it 72 weeks in a row. So I've answered a lot of questions. Some of them may be similar over time, but the first Saturday of the month, I ask a question of you, and I let you take a whole month to send me a postcard to my address, giving me your answer. And then the following first Saturday of the month, I read out those answers and show the postcards. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is July the 1st. It's Canada Day. The question was, what was your favorite holiday? So I have a few responses that I'm going to be talking about. I will also be giving a new question out tomorrow for the month of July that you can respond to. But tomorrow you can also leave me a question and I will answer it the following week. So that's what's happening. That's a lot going on. And hopefully you've stayed this long. Make sure you stay and watch to the end on most videos. Every once in a while, I'm not saying every video, there is a little something snuck in somewhere. I've done it a few times. Last week, you may have seen the animal that showed up in my backyard that was having a little meal because I left a video at the very end after Polo asks to subscribe, after I have my logo, kind of like they do in the Marvel movies. If you stay to the end of the credits, sometimes you get a clip of something else that happens. Well, I did that this past week. So if you watch that video and you got to see to the end, you got to see it. And I like doing that, so I'm going to continue to do that, whether it's a photo I put in something or whether it's a video of something that I took during the week that I didn't put up on Instagram, that I haven't shared anywhere else. I'm just going to throw it in at the end of one of my videos. So you're either going to have to watch every minute to the end, which I hope you do, or you're going to fast forward to the very end and see what I can find. Now, I'm not always going to put it at the very end either, so that may not work. Sometimes I'm going to split up a video and put it somewhere else, just to see if people are paying attention. And then I know people are paying attention if they comment and say, oh, I saw such and such, or I noticed that you did this. I started doing that with my logo too. Sometimes it's not in the thumbnail at the bottom. Sometimes I make it really small and hide it somewhere else in the thumbnail. I'm just trying to have fun for me too, as much as you guys. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Because it's kind of fun and quirky to do that. And I know I'm making new friends all the time through YouTube. So thank you so much. All right, you guys, have a magical week. Like, follow? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.